It's always nice when I get to break the stranglehold of Nike and Adidas at the channel, because let's face it, 99% of the content in the sneaker world out there is either Nike or Adidas, and really 90% of it is actually Nike and then Adidas a little bit. But then today we get sneakers like this, some Reebok sneakers coming down the line, and that gives me that opportunity to break that stranglehold of Nike and Adidas. And it's a great pack of sneakers of 4 or 5, as far as I know. There might be more out there, and I'm going to try and squeeze all of that into one video and look at every single pair of shoes in this pack, and especially that one pair of shoes that has the outsole that just takes it to the absolute next level. So keep an eye out for that outsole as we take a close-up look at this upcoming pack of Reeboks in collaboration with Kung Fu Panda. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel des. 毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today we've got a pack of Reeboks coming down the line in collaboration with the movie Kung Fu Pandas. I want to say movies, but one of the things I researched before doing this video was why are they doing this sneaker collaboration now? And I couldn't find a reason. There was a site that said that it was for the 4th movie coming out, but then when I checked like Wikipedia, didn't see anything about a 4th movie coming out. Maybe there is one, maybe there isn't one, but I couldn't find anything particularly current that would make this a good tie-up between Reebok and Kung Fu Panda for this particular season. Now it might be that all things have been messed up because of the coronavirus, and that's one of the situations we just have to deal with. But I just couldn't find out a reason why they're going with these Kung Fu Panda tie-ups with Reebok at this time. But still, there it is, a really big pack of shoes that's dropping on the 8th, which I think is going to be either the same day that this video drops or the day after this video drops. But they're dropping on the 8th on the Reebok website, and then a more general release 1 week later on the 15th. So it's a real good time for me to be doing this video, and I'm going to try and go through every single one of the shoes that I know about. Now, I've done packs before where I think I've given you guys every shoe in the pack, and then like 2 or 3 days later there's about 4 or 5 shoes that pop up and I'm like, oops, didn't notice those ones. So I'm going with 5 shoes in this pack. I'm going to talk about all 5 of them today. Now, if that's too many, because one of these shoes might actually be the same shoe from a different angle, so it could just be 4, or what's more likely is that there's a 6th, 7th or 8th shoe out there as well. I'm not going to get to that today, so let's do that. Let's get into this, and we'll start off with these guys right here. Now what this is the Club C, I think. I'm no Reebok aficionado, but I'm pretty sure these are Club C's, and what you're looking at there is a very plain upper, and it's covered in equally a similar kind of colour of Chinese characters all the way throughout that upper on there. Now I wish I could read some of those Chinese characters. Being here in Japan, I can read some Chinese characters, but not these ones here. I'm guessing that they say Kung Fu Panda. They definitely will have something to do with the movie, obviously, that being a collaboration. But it's a very simple upper, except for that extra characters run through it in those the Chinese lettering on there. But what is a unique feature, and this is going to run through all of the shoes, if we go up to the tongues, and it's one of my favorite things to see on a shoe, is when they have mismatched tongues, something on the left shoe that isn't on the right shoe, because it tells you that they've taken a bit of time to think about design rather than just the money. And in the case of these guys, it definitely says in English Chinese Kung Fu Panda on one of the tongues, and I'm assuming what it says is in Chinese on the other tongue, Kung Fu Panda. I don't know because I don't read Chinese, but that's what it looks like to me. But it's very cool that you have English on one tongue and Chinese on the other tongue. And then going back a bit from that to the lining and the insole on these guys, you can see it's a really pop and hot, vibrant lining and insole on these guys. Now then, if we swip it out to the next shoe, which is a very much plainer version of what we've already looked at, and I had to really look carefully at this to find out whether this is whether or not this is a completely different shoe, or if it's the same shoe with just different lighting for the photography or something like that. Now I'm pretty sure it's a completely different shoe, and the reason I'm pretty sure about that is this right here. If we look at the toe, what you'll be looking at there on the toe is that the detailing and the branding on the upper of this one is actually faces and characters from the franchise rather than the letters, the Chinese letters that we saw on the previous pair. But other than that, I don't see very much difference. If we go up to the tongues again, You've got that the Kung Fu Panda on one and the Chinese writing on the other one. And then if you go back from that even further and get to the insoles and the lining, you can see it's still that vibrant insole in there. And then a quick flip to the outside, because I want to look at the outsole just because of that gum sole effect, which goes really well with both of these shoes, even though they have slightly different uppers on them. So to me, it's two different shoes. You've got one with Chinese characters and lettering throughout the upper, and then another one with faces and caricatures from the franchise. Now, if I've got that wrong, if that's the same shoe or if it's like a removable upper that you get them wet and it releases one of the uppers or something like that, I apologize for that. But to me, it's two different shoes. I'm sure that I'm going to tell you about 3 other shoes right now, and each of these are definitely distinct. So let's get into it with basically another one of those Club C's, but this time an awful lot of color on this shoe. This is instead of putting the color in the lining and the insole, they've gone on the outside and put a ton of different panels on there, a lot of different materials, and a lot of different contrast between the different parts of the shoe. But what it doesn't have is any of that detailing hidden within the upper, like Chinese characters or the caricatures of the faces of the characters in the franchise. But it's sort of those 3 shoes kind of line up the Club C's. To me, you've got very simple kind of beige, tan, sail uppers on the first 2, and then a very colourful mix and match on the third one. And up on the tongues again, you've got that mismatched Chinese characters on one and English Kung Fu Panda on the other. But now we get to what many people may consider to be the jewel in this pack, which is the Instapump Fury, one of the biggest shoes on the Reebok line. And it's a great looking shoe, and there's 3 particular points I want to look at on it. One, and this reminds me of the Tom and Jerry's. If you saw the Tom and Jerry pack last year, I think it was last year, the pump on the Instapump Fury on them had Tom and Jerry's faces on the pumping part, and then you can see on here you've got the character from the movie on one of them, but then on the other one you've got a rice bowl with 2 chopsticks sticking out of it. And again, it's great that that's mismatched, but because these are Instapump Furies, you don't have a tongue to have that mismatched tongue on, but they've kept exactly that same feature, and all they've done is they've moved it around to the heel. So if we look at the heel here, you can see that Kung Fu Panda on one and then the Chinese writing on the other. And it's these ones that I think have that outsole that elevates it to the next level. So hopefully what you're looking at right now on the green screen is that next level outsole that gives you a real feel for sort of timber and wood and Chinese kind of natural elements, if you ask me. And speaking of Chinese elements, let's go to the toe box on these Instapumps before we get to the last shoe. And you can see there's a sort of Chinese feel about the design elements that are going on in that toe. It's almost like 2 shades of white, which is a bit of a contradiction because white is a single colour and you can't, it's not like red where you get different sort of variants of red. White is white, but it looks like 2 shades of white, and to me it's got a real feel of Chinese design and Chinese-ness about it. And then the final shoe in this pack, according to me, again, there might be more, is the Zig Kinetic. And I've done a couple of shoes, I think, about Zig Kinetics. One was with a fighter, a cage fighter, and the other one was just a normal shoe. But then this one here is very orange, a lot of colour going on in that upper up there. But we're back to the tongues, with the tongues having that mismatched Kung Fu Panda on one and then the Chinese writing on the other, which I'm assuming is Kung Fu Panda. And it's a good way to finish up this set of shoes and come back to look at the pack all as a oneer. And that's, you know, me trying to cram it all in. I think I've managed to get as many details about these shoes as possible into one video, and hopefully that's appreciated out there, and hopefully people are looking at this. But for me, that big question is still there, is why are they doing that at this time? What's the point of sending out these shoes right now? Is there something coming down the line that I don't know about? A movie, a 4th installment in the franchise that I haven't heard about? I did read in the research that they had always planned to do 6 movies, and the 3rd installment I think came in 2016, so it's been 4 full years since that, and so it is time for that 4th installment if it is coming. But all in all, great pack of shoes, great to do a Reebok for you guys. Hope you appreciate that very much. But time for me to sign off and check out. I've got some more videos to shoot today. I'm trying to do 2 videos, 3 videos, 2 more. I've already done this one and 2 more to come. So hopefully you guys appreciate this content. But I'll just do what I do at the end of every single video, which is remind you that I do this every single day. And that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.